Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commish Orr. Today we have a payoff pitch matchup from my Pops League between the St. Louis Wizards and the Houston Hoots. If we take a look at the schedule, we're getting very close to the All-Star break here in my league. I play about a third of a season. Actually, not about. I play 1/3 of a season. And in this league, I have 3 teams of American League and 3 teams of National League Hall of Famers. And 1 team in each league made up of great players not in the Hall of Fame. And as you can see, we're right here, St. Louis at Houston. And that's the game we'll be playing today. As always, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. So what can I say about these 2 teams? Well, Houston is currently in first place in the National League, 14-9. They are riding a 3-game winning streak. St. Louis, on the other hand, is 8-15, and they've lost 8 straight games. 8 straight games. This is probably hard for you to see, but I will explain it a little bit. But Houston has a team batting average 275 and an ERA of 384. St. Louis, on the other hand, has a batting average 238 and an ERA of 443. Just to kind of give you an idea of the teams involved. So, we are in the Astrodome, and it is the 1994 version of the Astrodome, if you are wondering. Let's look at the lineups for today's game. For the St. Louis Wizards, leading off and playing second base will be Joe Morgan. Batting second in left field will be Stan Musial. Right field batting third, Larry Walker. Duke Snider will be batting fourth and DHing today. Willie Mays batting fifth in center field. Johnny Mize will be batting sixth and playing first base in place of an injured Willie McCovey. Mike Schmidt will be batting seventh, playing third base. Ozzie Smith will be batting eighth at shortstop, and batting ninth will be the catcher, Gabby Hartnett, in place of an injured Mike Piazza. You'll notice when I play these games out, I have the normal lineup set, and if it's an injury just for a couple of games, I don't really bother changing this too much. I'll just look up the card as we come to it. So that's kind of what I do. Pitching for the St. Louis Wizards today is none other than Steve Carlton. Carlton was 27-10 with a 1.97 ERA in 1972. So what about the Houston Hoots? Well, here's their lineup. Leading off in right field is Roberto Clemente. Batting second at second base, Rogers Hornsby. Batting third at first base is Jeff Bagwell. Oscar Charleston will be in center field batting fourth. By the way, this is using his Negro League card, if you're curious. Chuck Klein will be DHing and batting fifth. Dave Bancroft batting sixth and at short. Eddie Matthews batting seventh at third base. Catching will be Ted Simmons, batting eighth, and finally batting ninth, Tim Raines in left field. One might wonder why he's not batting in the leadoff spot. Well, it's actually because he, compared to other players on the team, it just doesn't have as good of an on-base percentage or that kind of thing. So he's batting ninth here. I know, sacrilegious a little bit. And pitching for Houston today is Phil Niekro. All right. As I said, we are in the 1994 version of the Houston Astrodome, and we are all set to go with the first pitch to Joe Morgan from Phil Niekro. And it's a defense check right off the bat. And that's going to be hit to Hornsby at second base. He has an error rating of 2, and it's a 77, so that's going to be an easy ground out to Hornsby here for the first out of the game. Stan the Man coming to the plate. He's only hitting 198 so far in this season. Tough out 77 is going to be a fly out to center. Charleston under it for out number 2. Brings up Larry Walker, who's hitting 213. Averages in the National League are lower than they are in the American League. Just to give you an idea. In play 46, and that's going to be too high. So Walker's going to pop this one up on the infield. Bagwell in foul territory under it for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down here for St. Louis, trying to break that 8-game losing streak here today. And they have a great guy on the mound to try to do that in Steve Carlton. So leading off here is Roberto Clemente. He's hitting 200 only here so far in the season. In play 39, and that's just beyond his base hit range there. Instead, he pops this one up, and Mike Schmidt will be under this one for out number 1. Rogers Hornsby steps in. And that's a tough 72. That's a fly out to center. Willie Mays with plenty of room. That's second out. Jeff Bagwell. Bagwell's hitting 281 so far this season. And that's another tough, this time a 32. And that's going to actually be a base hit. Bagwell fights this one off for a base hit. And I accidentally hit something wrong here. So Bagwell, first base hit of the game here. And he is not going to try to do anything there. Hoping that Oscar Charleston can do something at the plate. That's another tough result. Tough 75. And another fly out here to center. Mays under it. And just like that, we are through the first inning. But we did have the first of the game. Heading to the top of the second, no score. Duke Snyder to the plate. In play 96, and Snyder flies this one out to right. Clemente under it for the first out. Willie Mays. Mays only hitting 217. Tough 44. That's going to be a base hit, though. Once again, another tough result that results in a base hit here in today's game. And that will bring up Johnny Mize. All right, Johnny Mize with Mays on first. And that's another defense check. Third base error check. Matthews' error rating is very good at a 4, and so it's not going to be an error. It's going to be a pop out to third here. Matthews under it for out number 1. Mike Schmidt steps in. Schmidt does have 6 home runs this season. In play 20, and that's barely going to be a base hit here for Schmidt. Base hit to right. Mays, first to third, base hit to right, 2 outs, 6+. Yeah, he will take third on that base hit. I use a custom advancement chart, by the way. A little homebrew action. And just like that, we have runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Ozzie Smith steps in. Trying to score the first run here, and that is going to be a walk. As Smith draws a walk to load the bases here. Bringing up Gabby Hartnett. Hartnett hitting 278 here, mostly as a fill-in for Piazza. Let's see if he can do something here with the bases loaded. Ballpark check. That's going to be dangerous. 0-4 is going to be Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 47. And that's going to be a base hit here. And we're going to have the first runs of the game as Mays comes in to score. Schmidt around third and in to score. And Ozzie Smith will be to third on that Wheelhouse single. Hartnett coming through here in the clutch. And just like that, St. Louis is on top here 2-0. Hartnett, no stolen base threat. So we are back to Joe Morgan here. Top of the order. And that's another ballpark, 49. Wheelhouse, 92. Oh, In most cases, that would have been beyond the wheelhouse, but it is not. And that's going to be a double in the gap. That's going to score 2 more runs. And St. Louis has jumped out to a 4-0 lead here in the second inning. Stan Musial steps in, trying to keep things going. Not going to happen, though. Tough out, and that is going to end it here as he grounds out to first. Bagwell beats him to the bag easily, but not before. 4-run score here in the second inning for St. Louis. A very good opening here, and they hope to continue this to break this losing streak. Carlton will face Klein, Bancroft, and Eddie Matthews here in the second inning, at least. Tough one, and Klein strikes out. Couldn't catch up to that one, and we have 1 out and the first strikeout of the game for Carlton. Dave Bancroft, that is another tough, this time at 27. Bancroft does not strike out very much against lefties. This one pops up on the infield. Morgan is under it for out number 2. Matthews. That's another tough 27, and it's another strikeout. Matthews takes a swing and misses. 3 up, 3 down here in the second inning. Necro will get to work here in the top of the third against Larry Walker. Patient, 62, and that's going to be a double in the gap. Walker into second, standing up. He was the only batter not to hit in the second inning. Duke Snyder steps in. In play 95, and that's a fly out to right. Clemente under it, and Walker is not going to take a risk, I don't believe. Fly out, advance to third, 7+. He does not. Not trying to test the arm of Roberto Clemente there. Willie Mays trying to add to their lead. Ballpark, another ballpark, and this one's going to be deep. It's way back and gone. That is Willie Mays' 3rd home run of the season. St. Louis now up 6-0. Johnny Mize trying to keep things going here. Nobody on. He grounds this one out to first, though, and Bagwell has the easy play for the second out. Mike Schmidt. Tough 99, and that's going to end the inning as Schmidt flies out to left and Raines is under it for the third out. But St. Louis has opened up their lead. They now are up 6-0. Carlton facing the very bottom of the Houston order. First, Ted Simmons. Tough 90, and Simmons grounds this one to second. Morgan over to Mize for the first out. Tim Raines. Tough 61, and that's going to be another out, this time a grounder to third. And Schmidt over to Mize for out number 2. Back to the top of the Houston order here with Roberto Clemente. Tough 63. And this is another fly out to right. 3 up, 3 down here in the third. Houston offense not getting going here so far against Carlton. Necro facing the bottom of the St. Louis order here, starting with Ozzie Smith. In play 46. And that's going to be a base hit. Smith leads it off the fourth here with a single. Not going to attempt it. And Gabby Hartnett steps in. Hartnett with the 2-run single there in the second inning. Tough 78. Not this time. as he lifts this one to center field, and Charleston is under it for out number 1. All right, back to Joe Morgan. Morgan had the 2-run double there in the second, excuse me. Tough 43. This time it's right back to the pitcher. 8 is higher than Phil Niekro's double play rating, though, so they only get 1. It'll be a 1-6. Fielder's choice, and now Morgan is on first as Smith is thrown out at second base there. Stan Musial is 0 for 2 today. In play 75, and he's going to be 0 for 3 as that's a fly out to center. Charleston hauls it in for out number 3. So a scoreless inning here in the 4th for Niekro. We head to the bottom of the 4th, and Rogers Hornsby will be leading things off. Tough 90. And Hornsby grounds this one to short. Smith over to Mize for the first out of the inning. Jeff Bagwell, he had the only Houston base hit today. And that was back in the first inning. Defense check. Error, third base error check. Schmidt's error rating is a 2. That 72 is going to be too high, so that's going to be a grounder to third. Schmidt over to first for out number 2. Brings up Oscar Charleston. He flew out in his first at bat. Tough 15, and he strikes him out. Carlton with 3 strikeouts so far today, and that ends the 4th. Another 1-2-3 inning for Carlton. We head to the top of the 5th. Walker, Snyder, and Mays facing off against Niekro. And Niekro strikes out Larry Walker. That's his first strikeout today. Duke Snyder steps in. In play 87. Snyder grounds this one to second. Hornsby to his right. Makes the play easily for out number 2. Willie Mays. Tough 10, and that's another strikeout. Phil Niekro with 2 strikeouts this inning, and that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for him. He needed that one. Chuck Klein steps in against Carlton to lead off the 5th for Houston. Tough 74. And Klein grounds this one to Ozzie Smith over to first for the first out of the inning. Bancroft's hitting .265 so far this season. Tough 79. Another fly out here to center. Mays under this one for the second out. Eddie Matthews steps in. He struck out in his last at bat. Another defense check. Right field error. It's going to be Larry Walker, and that's going to be a short fly ball. Walker under it for the third out. "13 straight batters retired for Carlton. Niekro goes to work here in the 6th. Facing first, Johnny Mize, who's 0 for 2 today. Patient 72, that's beyond his patient range. Ahead in the count, but instead takes a swing and flies this one out to Charleston, in center. 1 down. Mike Schmidt steps to the plate. In play 88. It's a grounder to short. And that'll be 2 outs now, as Bancroft throws over to Bagwell for out number 2. Ozzie Smith, he is 1 for 1. He walked in his first at-bat, singled in his last at-bat. Tough 82. And another fly ball to center here. Charleston getting plenty of action there in center field. And that's another 1-2-3 inning for Niekro. We head to the bottom of the 6th. St. Louis still up 6-0. Ted Simmons steps to the plate. Simmons only hit 182. Tough 0-8, and he strikes him out. It's the 4th strikeout for Carlton so far in this game. Tim Raines. That's another tough 65. Raines lifts this one to left. Stan the Man is under it for out number 2. Back to the top of the order. Clemente over 2 today. Another tough 52, but this time Clemente is going to fight it off for a base hit. That is the first base hit since the first inning here for Houston. A 2-out single here for Clemente. Houston hoping to get something going here against Carlton. Carlton dishes to Hornsby, and that is going to end the inning as Hornsby grounds this one to short. Smith flips to Morgan for out number 3. Just the second hit against Carlton here today. We head to the top of the 7th, and Gabby Hartnett will be at the plate. Patient 4, and that's going to be a leadoff walk here for Gabby Hartnett here in the 7th inning. There is some activity in the Houston bullpen. Joe Morgan in play 10, and they may need it. There's a base hit. A base hit to center. Hartnett only has a run rating of 5, so he's going to hold at second. And that may be it for Houston, or for Niekro, excuse me, as Houston looks to the bullpen. So Niekro only lasts 6 innings. And considering the score, they will turn things over to Jesse Haynes to eat some innings here in this game. See if he can get out of this this danger here. Haynes is mostly used as a mop-up guy for Houston. It doesn't really come into too many close games. This one certainly is not close. And he'll face Stan Musial here in the 7th. Runners on first and second. Nobody out still. Stan is 0 for 3 today. Tough 9, and he's going to be 0 for 4 as Haynes catches the corner and catches Stan looking. 1 down. Larry Walker. Walker 1 for 3. Oh, wow. Wheelhouse, I thought that was going to be trouble, but 82 is high enough. It's a fly out to center. I believe wheelhouse and ball hit to center. Hartnett, actually, they both are poor runners, so they're gonna hold up. It's a deep fly ball to center, but not deep enough for any of them to do anything. Either of them to do anything. Brings up Duke Snyder. Patient 27. That's the danger zone for Haynes here as he walks Snyder to load the bases. His only patient result is right in the middle here, and that's going to get hit quite a bit. All right, Willie Mays, bases loaded, 2 outs. And what did I just say? Patient 54 is going to be a base hit. Morgan holds up at third. I don't know if it's a misprint, but he only has a run rating of 4 in 1976, despite 60 stolen bases. Maybe he was a poor runner. All right, that brings up Johnny Mize. Bases are still loaded. 2 outs. In play 76, and that'll get him out of the inning here as Mize flies this one to center. Charleston once again under it for out number 3. Not before St. Louis adds to their lead. St. Louis now up 7-0. Carlton will go to work against the middle of the Houston order, Bagwell, Charleston, and Klein. In play 76. And that is a fly ball to center, and Mays tracks this one down for out number 1. Charleston 0 for 2 today, but he is hitting .333 so far in the season. Tough 49. And that'll be a base hit as Charleston finds some room through the infield. And Houston now has a base runner. They're still down 7-0 here, but hoping to get something started, chip away at the lead a little bit. Chuck Klein steps in. Tough 38. And that's going to be another base hit. Single to center. Tough means -2 to the running. So Charleston's going to hold at second here, but suddenly Houston has back-to-back base hits here in the 7th inning. And that brings up Dave Bancroft. Trying to continue here, and that's going to be a patient 44. And Bancroft hits this one into the corner, bounces around, and Musial will throw it in, but not before Bancroft slides into third with a triple. Houston with their first runs of the game. Still down 7-2. That'll bring up Eddie Matthews. They're not having the infield in this case. They're up by too much. Tough 91. It's a fly out to right. -2. Bancroft would have a run rating of 5. And that's not going to be deep enough to score him. Larry Walker out there in right field, and Bancroft not taking a chance on Walker's arm. Ted Simmons. Tough 18, and that's going to end the inning as Simmons watches strike 3 go by. But Houston's finally on the board. We head to the top of the 8th inning. St. Louis still up 7-2. Haynes will face the bottom of the order here. Schmidt, Smith, and Hartnett. And that one is right in the wheelhouse, and Schmidt he doesn't need to see that one twice. That one is deep and gone. Mike Schmidt's 7th home run of the season. A solo shot to lead off the 8th inning here. St. Louis re-extends their lead 8-2. Brings up Ozzie Smith. In play, 69. And that's a grounder to short. Bancroft over to Bagwell for the first out of the inning. Haynes trying to just control the damage here. And Hartnett will step in. Patient. That patient, again, is going to come back to kill him. as he walks Hartnett here in the 8th. Joe Morgan. We've seen this story before. Defense, though. Error, shortstop error. He's not a... that's Bancroft. He has a great error rating, and that 92. Ground ball advance. So Bancroft throws over to first, his only play. Hartnett advances to second on the throw, or on the grounder. We now have 2 outs. Hartnett on second. And Stan Musial steps to the plate. 0 for 4 today. In play 5, but he's not going to be 0 for 5, as that one is drilled into the outfield, into the gap. That is going to score Hartnett as Stan's into second, sliding. That will bring up Larry Walker as St. Louis now has a 9-2 lead. In play 50, that will end the inning as Walker dribbles this one back to Haynes. Haynes over to first for out number 3. Carlton. He's only allowed 2 runs, so he's still good as he'll face Raines here to lead off the 8th. Tough 54. Raines grounds this one to Mize, who takes it to the bag himself for the first out. Clemente. In play 36, and that's another base hit. Clemente now 2 for 4 today. Houston once again trying to get something going here. Time's running out. Tough 18, and Hornsby barely is going to strike out on this one on a questionable call on the corner. He shakes his head and heads to the dugout. 2 down. Bagwell steps in. Tough 34, and Bagwell fights this one off for a base hit. It's a base hit to right. Clemente will round second and head to third. Houston with runners on the corners here with 2 out, and Charleston steps in. Charleston did have a base hit in his last at bat. Tough 87. That's going to end the inning, though, as Charleston grounds this one to second. Morgan with the diving stop, and he takes it to first for the 3rd out. We head to the 9th. Haynes with a long fatigue rating. They're going to just leave him in here to face Snyder, Mays, and Mize. In play 77. It's a good start to the inning for him as another flyout here to Charleston in center. Willie Mays. Mays is 3 for 4 today with 3 RBI. And that is going to be 4 for 5 as Mays hits this one into the corner. Clemente is able to round it up, but not before Mays rounds second and heads to third. Close play, but he's in sliding safe. Mays 4 for 5 with a homer, a triple, and 2 singles. And Johnny Mize will step in here to try to score him. In play 34. That's not going to do it. That's a pop-up on the infield. Bagwell under it in foul territory for out number 2. Mike Schmidt. Schmidt had that solo home run in his last at bat. Defense check. Second base error check, and that is Hornsby, who has an error 1 to 47, and it's a 49. It's a pop-up to second. Hornsby under it, and that'll be the 3rd out. Haynes gets through the 9th without allowing any more runs here. And they will probably Let's see. Haynes had 3 innings pitched here. And St. Louis. Yeah, so Carlton lasts 8 innings in this one. And they're going to bring in their mop-up guy. And that's going to be Hoyt Wilhelm. Hoyt Wilhelm. They have a 7-run lead. And let's see how Wilhelm does at keeping that lead. All right, so Wilhelm, as you take a look at his card, he doesn't have any wheelhouses on his card, so he doesn't allow the long ball too much, but he does have a 7 patient, so he's likely to hit that a couple of times here, unless he's lucky. So he'll face Klein, Bancroft, and Matthews here in the 9th. Speaking of the 7, and Klein leads off the 9th with a base hit. Klein 2 for 4 today. That brings up Bancroft, who tripled in his last at bat. Had those 2 RBI. Tough 66. Not this time. Ground ball to short. And Bancroft beats out the relay throw, so they don't get the double play. They will get the runner at second here. 6-4. That was close, but Bancroft with just enough speed to beat out the relay throw. Eddie Matthews. In play, 75. That is a fly ball to center. Mays under it for out number 2. 2 down. Last chance for Houston. Ted Simmons is going to be that last chance, and Simmons draws a 2-out walk here in the 9th. Runners on first and second. Tim Raines. 2 out. Tough 21, and that's a strikeout for Wilhelm to end the game. Raines couldn't catch up to it, and that will be the end of this one. So, St. Louis breaks their losing streak. 9 runs on 12 hits and no errors. Houston, 2 runs on 8 hits and no errors. Player of the game probably has to go to Steve Carlton. Carlton, other than the couple of runs he allowed there in the 7th, was fairly unhittable. Fairly unhittable in this one. So he does exactly what they need him to do. Willie Mays, again, also a star of this game. 4 for 5. He had the 2-run homer in the 3rd, a triple in the 9th, and then a couple of base hits, a couple of singles, including an RBI single in the 7th. So he had 3 RBI in this one. So that would be another potential player of the game. He's only hitting .250 this year. So St. Louis breaks the losing streak. We head back here to the standings. They will be 9-15, and Houston will fall to 14-10, which puts them only a game and a half ahead of LA and Chicago in the National League. So, as always, if you want to follow the action, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com. If you liked this, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of the action. I have this league, and I have a season ticket baseball best of the 90s tournament league going right now. About halfway through that tournament. And so that's the other project I have going on. And, of course, I also upload other videos as well about other baseball-related topics, so check those out. But I want to thank you so much for watching today. Really appreciate it. And until next time, have a great evening.